friends, it's Jules. Welcome to Jules Reads. I'm here today to talk about the first half of 2025, my favorite books so far, and then my favorite movies and TV. And just a very quick stats. I've read 35 books so far. We are at the beginning of July, and I have 5 books I want to talk about that I would call my favorites of the year. I did DNF 3. Those DNFs, and I'm not going to talk about them, and I think they're well loved, but I did not like them. And I'm not a fantasy reader, so I think that's part of the problem with these first 2, actually mostly all 3, was Between Two Fires, Red Rising, and Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I liked the writing in all of them. That was fine. It was just the fantasy part of it. I don't know what it is with me and fantasy. I can't do it. All right, so let's get started with my favorite books so far of the year. I don't have one. Well, it might be actually a series. I'll save that one for the end. I was thinking that would be my absolute favorite. And I haven't had any that I'm like, oh, it's a banger. I love it. These were all great. I gave them 5 stars. Let's talk about The Little Prince. And I'm just going to read the back of it to you. A pilot stranded in the desert awakes one morning to see standing before him the most extraordinary little fellow. "Please," asks the stranger, "draw me a sheep." And the pilot realizes that when life's events are too difficult to understand, there is no choice but to succumb to their mysteries. He pulls out pencil and paper, and thus begins this wise and enchanting fable that, in teaching the secret of what is really important in life, has changed forever the world of its readers. Few stories are as widely read and as universally cherished by children and adults alike as The Little Prince, presented here in a stunning new translation with carefully restored artwork. The definitive edition of a worldwide classic, it will capture the hearts of readers of all ages. I actually got this copy at a French bookstore in New York City, so that was fun. Let me show you some of the illustrations. And this was my first time reading it, and I loved it. It's one of those books that kind of feel like I should read once a year, but I really enjoyed that. All right, the next book I want to talk about is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. And I have this cover. There's another cover that's pretty popular. I don't know. This must be the American one. A lot of people have the UK version. I'm not sure. But this has become very popular, even though it was written, I want to say at least 20 years ago. It was written in 95, but it has just taken off recently. So I don't know if there's a republication or what. But deep underground, 39 women live imprisoned in a cage. Watched over by guards, the women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only a vague recollection of their lives before. As the burn of electric light merges day into night and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 40th prisoner, sits alone and outcast in the corner. Soon she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above ground. And I really liked it. It's a slow burn. There's not a lot of stuff that's happening. It's very dystopian, and as you can see, it has the ladder coming up out of the ground. So you already know that from the back that they do come up. A lot of people won't say that, but it says it right on the back, which I kind of wish it didn't. And I liked it. It's a quick read. It's only 173 pages, so it's a very quick read, and I really liked it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's very slow. There's not a lot of action in it. And it is kind of gut-wrenching. There's not a lot of positivity in it. So just know those things going into it. But if you like sci-fi and dystopian, I think you would like it. Again, the same with this book, Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. And did I get this? I got it at a strange bookstore in Seattle. But I really liked this. I saw the movie before I read it, but the movie is nothing like the book. In Annihilation, the first volume of Jeff Vandermeer's now classic Southern Reach series, Area X has been cut off from the rest of the continent. for decades, and nature has reclaimed the last vestiges of human civilization. Expedition after expedition into Area X have failed to uncover its mysteries and the true nature of its danger to the world. Now a 12th expedition makes the attempt. A group of 4 women, an anthropologist, a surveyor, a psychologist, and the narrator, a biologist. Their mission is to map the terrain, record observations of their surroundings, and above all, avoid being contaminated by Area X. I really liked this. I like this better than the movie. It's less action than the movie, and it's interesting how they never use their names. So they are the surveyor, the psychologist, and that is how they are referred to in the novel. I want to continue on the series. I actually have somewhere over there, I have the next 2 in the series. I want to continue with that. I can't remember if they Jeff has released another one, but it's really good and I highly recommend it, especially if you're, again, dystopian sci-fi. I would recommend that one. And then the second to last one I want to talk about, everyone should know this book. It's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. We actually read this for book club this year. I think it was our January pick. And I did this on audio and I really liked it. That's why this version is so pristine on the spine. But I read this many years ago when it first came out and loved it. I watched the Swedish TV or movies, the whole series, the 3 of them I think there is. I liked the first one and the version, but the Swedish ones are better if you're gonna watch the movies. But I really like this, and here we go. Stieg Larsson's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo combines murder mystery, family saga, love story, and financial intrigue into a complex and atmospheric novel. Harriet Wenger, a scion of one of Sweden's wealthiest families, disappeared over 40 years ago. All these years later, her aged uncle continues to seek the truth. He hires Mikael Blomkvist, can't say the name, a crusading journalist recently trapped by a libel conviction to investigate. He is aided by the pierced and tattooed punk prodigy Lisbeth Salander. Together they tap into a vein of inequity and corruption. Oh, it says coming September, this must be an old copy, coming in September 2017, The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye. I did not know that there was more. I thought he passed away. Maybe somebody is writing for him. But yeah, so there we go. There's some disturbing things in here. Definitely check trigger warnings. And it is a little chunky. I didn't realize how chunky it was, but I remember loving it back then. And I did like the audio as well this time around. Lisbeth is a character I absolutely adore. And she's amazing. She's very, very intelligent, and she seeks some revenge that is so satisfying in this book. But I highly recommend this. If you have never read this, I would highly recommend it. How many times can I say highly recommend? All right, and then the last, probably my top favorite of the year is The Life We Bury by Allen Eskins, and I would consider the whole series, but this first one really got me into Allen Eskins. I actually did this on audio, and I'm doing all of them on audio, kind of like my William Kent Kruger Corporal Connor series books. But this takes place in Minnesota, the Twin Cities, which I love, and he has 2 different part of his novels are following, I think his name is Joe Talbert, and then Max, the detective, Max something. And this first book, The Life We Bury, is about Joe, and he's actually taking care of his brother. His mom is kind of into drugs and not very responsible, and it's also a little bit of a love story. There's some mystery, there's some action in it. It's really well told and very beautifully written, especially for a thriller type book. I really like the writing of it. And I will continue on in the series. I think I've read maybe 5 by now, but that one really got me started on Allen Eskins, and I'm loving it. All right, so let's talk about my favorite movies and TV. I have quite a bit. Okay, let's talk about TV first. Bad Sisters. I don't even know if the latest season was released in 2025, but I discovered it in 2025. This is about a group of Irish sisters, and I don't even know how to describe it without giving away. Well, I guess you know that. One of the sisters' husbands is just a horrible, horrible person, And so they are trying to off him. And each episode you follow them not succeeding in that. And I can't really say too much about that more because I would give away some things. But I highly recommend that show. It is definitely one of my favorites that I watched this year. I think only one more probably topped it. But I really like Bad Sisters. And then Peaky Blinders. We finished Peaky Blinders this year and looking forward to the movie coming out soon. Actually, I don't know when that comes out. And then Peaky Blinders takes place in the early 1900s during Prohibition time, part of it's Prohibition, and stars Cillian Murphy. Love him. And we watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes a night for quite a while. We watched the whole season, just kind of binged it. But the reason only 1 or 2 a night, sometimes just one, it's very heavy, very dark, intense. It's very intense. I feel like every scene has a purpose in the show, and it is just a brilliant, brilliant show. Love it. Inside Number 9, finished the last season of that. That's one of my top shows of all time. Actually, mostly all of these. No, not all of them. But Inside Number 9, if you've never watched it, I've talked about it many times on my couple channels. And each episode is a standalone. It's dark comedy. It's 2 British actors and writers. They write and act in every single episode. And the way they can change characters and be chameleons for the part is amazing. And yeah, we finished the last season and the last episode was brilliant. It just came full circle and it was kind of poking fun at itself a little bit, being a little meta. I don't know. It was so good. Love that show. White Lotus, we watched all 3 seasons of White Lotus. Love them. I think personally season 2 is my favorite. I loved the Italian scenery. I think my husband's is the first episode. And if you've never watched White Lotus, it has a lot of commentary on class and money and greed, kind of. It's a lot of horrible people doing horrible things. But there's a lot of great humor in it. And yeah, I think season 2 is my favorite. Your Friends and Neighbors, that is one we watched on Apple? And that's with Jon Hamm. And he ends up losing his job as like a trader or broker. And he becomes a thief to his neighbors, his wealthy neighbors. He knows, what watches they have and jewelry and art. So he ends up becoming a thief. So it's about that. There's a lot of humor in it. And it's just fun I love Jon Hamm. It's fun to watch. And then I'll save my favorite one for the end. But 4 seasons, we watched that. Now this is a remake of, I think, a movie. Is it Alan Alda, I think, did the movie. And this is done by Tina Fey. And there's a lot of stars in it. It's about 4 different seasons of the year. It takes place over 1 year, and these group of friends go on vacation together each season. Like, how can you afford to go on vacation each season with these friends? And why would you want to go with the same friends each time? I don't know. That's weird to me, but whatever. And the comedy is just fantastic. I love it. It's kind of real. What they're all going through is real, especially for someone my age. I really enjoyed it. We're watching a French one. We haven't finished it yet, and that's Karim. And it is in French, so I'd watch it with subtitles, not dubbed. And it is about a chef, and this is based on a real person in the 1700s, 1800s, Napoleon time. When is that? Is it 1600s? I don't know. My husband would know, and he'd be rolling his eyes at me right now. And he becomes this, really good chef, becomes involved in kind of a spy for this whole royalty. And it's really good. It's one of those that I think I can just watch one at a time, just because you do have to watch the subtitles and it's in French. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack and a lot of things you have to think about as you're watching it. Another show I really liked was Department Q. And this is a British show. I think it's on Netflix. It's very dark. It kind of reminds me of Mindhunter. Not as dark as Mindhunter. But the reason it reminds me of it, I think, is because this department, Q, gets sent to the basement of their headquarters to establish a department to investigate cold cases, and then they pick a cold case. So they're actually in like a bathroom in the basement. So there is some humor in it, not a lot. The main character I really, really liked, and the mystery I liked in it as well. It was very good, very intense. Okay, my favorite of the year so far, which probably is going to be my favorite, is The Pit. I had a friend in book club recommend this to me, and I was like, what? It's like Noah Wyle from ER, and he's a doctor again? What? Why is that good? It takes place over the course of one day. So I think it's 9 episodes maybe. So 9 hours of the day, which, holy cow, the medical profession, especially emergency room, yes, wow. What you have to go through, I cannot even imagine. It is so intense, and the writing is good, and just how quick paced it is, and witty and interesting, and the cases that they have. There's some really hard things to watch and to see, and made me cry. I just really liked it. Noah Wyle is amazing. I take back what I thought about why would I watch that. He was in ER how many years ago? So good. Can't wait for the next season. They are doing more seasons of that, but that's so far my favorite of the year. Let's talk about movies, and I don't know that I have, probably, yeah, that's probably my favorite of the year. Let's talk about a couple old ones I watched. Moon is from 2009. That's with Sam Rockwell. And this one is, if I talk about it too much, I will give things away, but think of Mickey 17. If you know anything about that, it's a little bit similar to that. I enjoy Moon better than Mickey 17. There's not as many, obviously, characters in Moon as Mickey 17, but there's some psychological things happening, and it is sci-fi. It takes place in outer space. And Sam Rockwell, love him. All right, I talked about F1 in my last video, but we did see F1 in the theater, and I really, really liked that, and I highly recommend seeing it in the theater. It is a lot of car races. I think they call it Formula One, but Brad Pitt and something starts with the B. Idris is the other actor's name. He's new to me, don't know his name. Really good, like that. And that's not an old one. I said I was going to talk about old ones. The other old one is Before Sunset, and this one is the ones, like, there's Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and I think it's After Midnight is the next one. I haven't watched it yet. And this one takes place in Paris, so that's why we watched it, is we just wanted to see them walk around Paris. So they go on the riverboat on the river, and they're just walking around the whole movie. But we were watching it, we're like, how did they get from that place to that place in 10 minutes? But I really like that. It's with Ethan Hawke. Love it. I loved A Real Pain. And this is a movie that takes place in Poland. It's cousins going to kind of find their grandma's home that she grew up in Poland. She had just passed away like 6 months ago. And it is moving. It's funny. I think Kieran Culkin won an Oscar for it. The writing is great. Yeah, it was really good. There's definitely some hard things to see there. A Complete Unknown, amazing. That's probably my favorite of the year so far. We actually saw that at the end of the year, but I've watched that numerous times since then. So I just wanted to put that on here. And that is the biopic of Bob Dylan starring Timothy Chalamet. I think everybody knows what that is, and I just love it. And then Anora was really good. We watched that after it was, we watched it before it was nominated and won Best Picture of the Year. It was not what I was expecting. Really good. I haven't watched it again. I should, but I really enjoyed that. Just to know that there's a lot of nudity in it. I think that's all I have to talk about. I don't want to end on that. Oh no, Conclave. Let's end on that. Conclave, loved it. It's a slow burn, and you have to pay attention, especially at the ending. I watched it the first time. I was not paying attention. I was on my phone as well. And my friend's like, oh, I love Conclave, love that ending. And I'm like, I guess I have to rewatch it. So I rewatched it. I was like, oh, totally missed the whole point of the whole movie. But it's very good. I love it. All right, that is my first recap of the year for the first half of the year. And I'm hoping to post more on this channel. I had given it up at one point, moving everything over to my other channel, and I realized I missed this kind of content, but you got to separate out because the people that watch journaling, glue booking stuff don't necessarily read and vice versa. So I'm separating them again. I know I change my mind all the time. But there we go. That is my recap for the first half of the year. Let me know what your favorite movies or TV or books are for the first half of the year. I would love to know. And take care. I'll chat with you soon.